Welcome back to None of Your Beeswax Apiary. Today we just wanted to make a short video to show you how we store our super frames after we're done extracting the honey and stuff for the year. Now that the honey harvest is over, we've got all these extra frames that we have to store until next year when we put them back on. You can't just leave them piled up in your garage or shop or anything like that, because the wax moths will get into them and destroy the wax and all the hard work the bees went into making the comb and stuff like that. So we use a couple of different ways to store them. The first way is we've got a big chest freezer here that we got off of Facebook Marketplace, and we pile as many frames as we can in there and store them safely like that for the year, and then just thaw them out before we put them on the hives next year. And then we also store some in some totes on the front porch with some paramoth. But before we do that, we've also got another freezer here that we make sure we freeze them first to make sure it kills any wax moth larvae that may be in that wax there. That's an important step, to make sure that you kill the larvae so that they're not in there growing when you put them in that tote. So we freeze them for about 3 or 4 days in there, and then I'll show you how we store them in the totes in there. So after we freeze them in the freezer there for 3 or 4 days, then we bring them out here to this tote, stack them all in this tote, as many as we can get in here, and then we put a bowl or a plate with some of the paramoth wax crystals on there, and then put the lid on and seal that off, and that'll keep the wax moths from wanting to get into there. The product that we use is paramoth wax crystals. You can't use regular mothballs or anything like that like you can use for your house. Those are not approved for use in beehives, and the chemical makeup of them are poisonous to the bees. Of course, you don't want to put this in your hive directly, but this won't leave any residues in your wax or anything like that like the regular mothballs would. So make sure you get the paramoth. It says directly on the label for control of moths in beehives and bee housings. So make sure you get the right product if you use this. We'll put them in here, we'll seal them up, and then about a week or so before we go put them on, we'll pull them out and air them out. You don't want to just pull them out of the wax crystal storage place and then put them on the hives. You got to let it air out for a little bit, so we'll do that. Like I said, there's many different options of storing them. These are the two that we use. I've also in the past taken and left the frames in the super boxes and stacked them up in the garage and put paramoth crystals in between every 3 or 4 boxes, and that worked out well. But then it takes up storage space in the garage, where now I can just store the boxes on the back porch. And you can also store them out in the sunlight, because wax moths don't like sunlight, but that also then attracts bees to check it out and robbing if you have any honey left in there, if you haven't let them clean it out or anything like that. So be sure to like and subscribe to the page, follow us for more, and leave any comments below. Thank you.